Arabia and Iran have been holding talks. This was the second round related to a rapprochement agreement that was brokered by Beijing in 2023. The three discussed improving access for Iranian pilgrims to Mecca, an end to what they called Israeli aggression in Gaza and Lebanon, and a commitment to a peaceful solution in Yemen. Well, to talk more about that, we're joined by Carice Whitty. She's the founder and Executive Director of the Signal Group. Thank you very much for being with us, Carice. Good to see you. So is anything actually being achieved via this trio?
First, it's great to be back. I think it's really interesting that we're seeing an event mediated, or the tripartite gathering, where they need China to discuss such issues as visas for 87,000 Iranians to do the Hajj, and discussing things like no double taxation. That's normal bilateral discussions. So you have to ask yourself, why now, and why is China there? I think what we see in the readout is not what is underlying sort of the tremors below, which is that we're in a limbo moment where Biden is a clear lame duck, and we're still in that pre-Trump stage. So things are kind of quiet. In fact, Xi Jinping took the time to lay out his 7 points at APEC for how the U.S. should conduct its relations with China, stressing, first of all, no more containment of China to avoid a new Cold War, and then went on and on with 6 more points, meaning China seems to be using this time to make statements that when the U.S. is not really in a position to answer back. And bringing together Saudi Arabia and Iran to discuss these sort of banal issues is in the context of Iran's much weakened position after Israel's successful taking out of its aerial defenses and Parchin. And so I think that we want to ask ourselves, what is the real benefit when Israel may threaten to perhaps take out energy centers or oil centers in Iran, and Iran turns around and threatens Saudi Arabia. And now they come together and talk about such issues as double taxation.
Yeah, certainly more going on behind the scenes than we get from the press releases. I mean, it was a nice photo op for the Chinese, though, wasn't it? But when you come down to it, Carice, where does Beijing have influence over what's happening in the Middle East? Are they increasing their influence here, or is it on the wane?
I think we're seeing that Beijing must acknowledge that its influence is not what it had hoped or what it was aiming for. And if you look at what's happened since Israel's strategic successes, where we saw on the one side, very strong anti-Israel rhetoric and very pro-Iran rhetoric, now we see both sort of moving closer, where we're seeing less pro-Iran and less anti-Israel. So we're not seeing a pro-Israel view. We're not seeing an anti-Iran view. China will maintain its Iranian relationships. It sees it as a civilization that it must maintain ongoing contact with and get certain benefits from. But I think China realized that the benefits are not what it expected, and the detriments are much more than what it thought, and that Israel's role in the region will remain very strong, and China is going to have to deal with Israel if it wants to be a player in this region. And overall, it just doesn't have the experience, the relationships, and the contact with the stakeholders in ways that would allow it to influence the direction of events that suit China. So now it has to take a step back and leave it to the United States.
Fascinating. Carice Whitty, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much.